If you're a homeowner on Vancouver Island thinking about selling, you've probably asked yourself, when is the best time of year to put my home on the market? Today we're diving into the numbers, the seasons, and the real-life strategies that'll help sellers just like you succeed, whether it's spring, fall, or any time in between. So let's get right in. Let's start with what most people already assume. Spring is traditionally the busiest season for home sales. And it's true. According to the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board, or VIREB, spring does bring in a surge of both listings and buyer activity. In fact, if we look at the stats from April of 2024, VIREB recorded 741 unit sales overall. Now, a unit sale can include a condo, a manufactured home, raw land, but if we want to look just at single-family dwellings, there were 376 homes sold, and that's a 29% increase from the previous month of March. So that April month of spring did yield higher sales results. There's just something about spring that spurs this on every single year. The weather starts improving, flowers start blooming, buyers and sellers, they're energized after the winter. Families in particular, maybe they want to buy in the spring so that they can be moving in the summer months before the next school season starts. There's a lot of different motivational factors that come into play here. But here's a key insight, a tip that you might not have heard before, and that is that the early spring season, so before it might even be getting really warm with spring type weather, I'm talking February, March, is really an ideal time to list your home if you're ready to do so. Why? Because you're beating the rush. Your home can hit the market before the big wave of other listings also hit the market. So what this does is it actually gives your home, your listing, less competition. It gives it more visibility because your home won't be competing with as many other homes. And this can have really great results because I've seen this year after year. Right after the winter season, those homes that come to market early in the spring season, there's been buyers waiting by the sidelines, sitting on their hands, waiting for the right home to come to market. And then all of a sudden, your home comes to market before all the others come to market. So those buyers can be more serious. They can be motivated to act fast, to close quickly. And I've seen this repeat year after year. Early spring really can be successful. Now, there's another time period that many sellers overlook or might not even be aware of, and that is the fall market. So after the summer market slows down and the kids go back to school, the fall market actually sees a second surge of activity. We often refer to this in the industry as the second spring. In September of 2024, VIREB reported 637 unit sales, which was actually up 16% year over year, and 4,465 active listings, which was also up 24% from the previous year. The truth of the matter is that fall buyers can be just as motivated as spring buyers, especially those who've waited out the busy season, that spring summer market, and they want to get into their new house before the snow flies, before it's winter weather. Maybe they missed out on buying in the spring or the summer. Maybe they tried on a home or several homes. Maybe went to multiple offers and they were unsuccessful. They now might have further motivation to make something work quickly before the bad weather. And that's why that fall season really is our second spring. We see a lot of activity on Vancouver Island in September, October, and then it starts to taper off in November. But that fall season, there's a lot that happens. So we talked about our transitionary periods of spring and fall, but what about winter and summer? Can you still be successful during these periods? Let's dive in. The truth of the matter is that homes sell year-round. Yes, the winter is slower, and there are fewer buyers. There are shorter days. But again, in your benefit, if you have to sell in the winter, it means that typically you're going to have less competition. Winter buyers still can be highly motivated. Maybe they're motivated by a job transfer, a life change, or financial reasons. So if your home is well prepared, is staged, and is priced right, it can still sell in the winter and you can be successful. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, summer offers long sunny days and your home and your yard likely will be looking at its best. What can slow things down in the summer is it is vacation season for many. The young ones are out of school, families might be traveling. They may be focused on doing that rather than their home shopping. So at times it can feel like there's less people out there shopping, but homes still sell. And really what you're comparing it with is the onslaught of activity in the spring. Summer sales are still high. It's just we reach this peak, this apex of activity in the spring, and then it dips off in the summer. And then we reach another peak in the fall, and then it dips off in the winter. The bottom line is that there are real opportunities in every season. Success is not dependent on the month of the year. If we look at the Vancouver Island Real Estate Board's stats, we see that our market here is resilient. Yes, there are fluctuations with interest rates, and supply levels can change throughout the year, but demand remains steady. And that's just because we're on Vancouver Island, debatably, and in my opinion, the most desirable place in all of Canada to live. That demand will not go away. People do want to retire here. Coming from major centers, you can often still get a budget purchase here. So that demand's not changing. My key takeaway point for you is that the best time to sell doesn't depend on a month. It ultimately depends on when is the best time for you to sell and for you to move on. It doesn't have to be in the spring. It can just be when you, your family, is ready to make a move. Maybe it's when you've secured your next home or your next job. Maybe you're downsizing or you're making a lifestyle change. The goal isn't just to time the market. It's to move forward in your life and get to where you want to be. And successful sales, they happen every single month of the year. It can be December. It can be right before the holidays, and we can still make it happen. You just need to be working with the right agent. You do need to price your home properly so as to not be leaving money on the table and walking away from money, but also at a realistic market value. And then leave the marketing up to us. That's really what we specialize in, making your home look as pretty as possible and using video to really get it in front of as many people as possible. So to recap, spring and fall are oftentimes the most effective selling seasons on Vancouver Island. Listing in that early spring period can help avoid heavy competition, but don't underestimate that fall season, that second spring season. It has a lot of potential. And remember, don't get discouraged if you missed the spring. Maybe you're really working hard, but you just couldn't get a few projects done. Homes sell all year round. What matters most is your plan, your preparation, and your marketing, and your why. Where are you trying to get, and why do I want to be there? So if you're thinking about selling, I'd love to help you to strategize the timing that works best for you, for your family, and for your goals. So drop your comments, your questions below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more insights on the Vancouver Island real estate market.